Wait, this is not right. Scoot over. Nope. Hey everyone, I'm Logan.
And I'm Jen. I forgot my name for a second.
And we're surprised by marriage. Sometimes you're not on the same page. And that's what today's topic is. Like, what do you do when your spouse is not on the same page with the other one?
Right. Last week we talked about small steps to holiness together. And it's very easy for us to talk about those things because we both are Catholic. We both pray, go to Mass and all that. And we're on the same page. But we know that's not always the case for some of you. Some of you may be married to someone who's not Catholic or not even praying. We don't know what your situation is. But we do know it's more common than you think.
Yes, and so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Obviously, we don't have experience with being married to someone who does not practice their faith, but hopefully we have some thoughts that may be helpful.
The first thing you should be doing when all hope seems lost and you're just trying to get your spouse to feel the same thing you feel, pray for them. I mean,
everything starts with prayer.
That's the easiest.
It's the most productive thing you could do.
We try to push our own agenda. Sometimes we just need to let God work it for us and let the saints also intercede for us. So if you're struggling and you just don't know how to get through and you've tried everything and exhausted every option, remember, pray for them. Always pray for them. Pick a saint to intercede for on your behalf for prayers, and truly let the Holy Spirit
do the work
for you, because they're the best way to infiltrate the forces in.
Right.
Say, wake up!
Yeah, even we've learned that we cannot change each other, and we have to let God do all the work, and all we can do is pray. And maybe you're thinking, well, that's great, Jen and Logan, but I have been praying, and I don't see any results. Well, I heard in this talk on YouTube about some spouses just need more than prayer. Like, they require prayer and fasting, just like in the Gospels when the disciples asked Jesus why they couldn't get rid of this demon or something. And let me find the verse. Hold on. From Mark chapter 9, verse 29. Jesus said to them, "This kind cannot be driven out by anything but prayer and fasting."
Be gone, demon!
Okay, that is so oh my gosh. Right, so sometimes you do need to fast, which is hard. Fasting sucks.
Fasting does suck, but
it's effective.
And it's worth it.
Yeah.
When you see the outcome of your... Nothing comes easy in this life.
That's
and
true.
So
that's true.
If you want to obviously work for something, for it to happen, you got to be able to make the sacrifice.
Right.
And that's what fasting is. You'll be rewarded, hopefully, with your fasting and patience, because it takes patience as well.
Right.
We talked about praying for your spouse and fasting for your spouse, but sometimes you also need to work on yourself, because we can't fully change the person we married. I mean, that's the person we can't.
I've tried.
Anyway, you need to work on changing yourself as well.
Right. We all have things that we need to work on. Even if it seems like your spouse has more to work on, it's not going to get you anywhere. Focusing on all their faults and weaknesses. Just start with yourself, and a lot of times your spouse will notice and start working on him or herself.
Yes, we did a video on this way
long
back.
Time ago.
If you
Don't
want to scroll,
it's
like in our first days of doing these videos. You can't change yourself. I mean, you can't change your spouse, but you can change yourself. Yeah. And so usually when you make that effort to change for your spouse, you actually see the change in your spouse, because they recognize like those changes.
Yeah. The next thing I feel like isn't talked about a lot, but I highly recommend it, even though I have no experience with it personally, is to seek individual therapy. Because a lot of times if you're struggling with like resentment and just all kinds of things that may come when you're married to someone who is not a practicing Catholic like you gotta know how to cope with all of that and learn ways to I'm not really explaining this very well, but a professional help and guidance is invaluable.
Because I mean, some of the biggest problems is just being able to communicate, and if you're not communicating, sometimes if you have a mediator to hear both sides of things, it might help.
Yeah. Well, even if,
yeah.
I mean, obviously it'd be ideal to go to therapy together or speak spiritual direction or whatever together, but we know that's not always the case or possible, or you have to have two willing parties. So that's why individual therapy is like the next best thing. All right. Hopefully these thoughts have helped just a little bit. Know that we are praying for you if you are in that situation. But we just want to leave you with one thought, is to remember that you are the face of Christ for your spouse. It's going to be a little intimidating, but remember that and pray for them, fast for them if necessary, and just entrust them to God and the Blessed Mother, because they will handle it. Maybe not in the timing that you would like, but they got this. So hang in there.
Go to spiritual war for your wife or your husband and fight for them.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.